last time we had a message, आपे आप निरंजन सोई, जिन सिरजी तिन आपे गोई, नानक नाम समाव सदा तू, सहजे सच समावनि-aa. The ultimate creator is self-born, and the creator has no human characteristics. Ape-aap means self-created. Niranjan, its roots are nir plus anjan. Nir means without, anjan means the coloring, shades. All characteristics have certain shades to it, and all of those characteristics belong to human. They belong to animals, the birds, the plants, the stones. All of the creation has some anjan, some color to it. But the creator has no shade, no color, no human characteristic, because he is self-created. And once he came into being, he created the entire creation. And that creation is not limited, because he is unlimited, so is his creation. And since creation from day one continues, it means he is not done creating it. The creation goes on. It is a false notion that he created and then he was done with it. That might sound okay to the limited mind, but we are talking of the infinite. We are talking of unlimited. Unlimited has no start, no middle, and no end. And that unlimited reserves the right to create and destroy. Jine sirji, sirji means to create. Tine ape goi, goi means to destroy, to put an end to it all. And he also has the right, having destroyed it, to recreate it. And if the mortal mind, if the human mind can grasp this and accept it, then there is only one thing left, which is Nanak naam samal sadatu. O seeker, O mind, forever merge into his memory. Sada, forever. Samal means to merge. Forever practice, implement it, merge into his memory. And if you start on that path, if you start on that journey, some miraculous thing will happen, which is sahj sach samaavani-aa. You will merge into the ultimate truth. You will go back to your own home. You will go back where your journey started. Sahj, equipoise. Sach means truth. Samaavani-aa means to merge, to become one with the one. But that is not possible unless you first accept this, which is Ape aap naranjan soi, jin sirji tene ape goi. You first have to accept that. He is self-born. He has no human characteristics. He has the authority to create. He has the authority to destroy. If you take these as basic principles and foundation of your thinking process, then you can move on further. If you don't accept the very fundamentals, then you are in a self-deception mode. And we are very good at self-deception. We are trained. We grow up with self-deception. You'll be surprised how innocently we get trapped into this. Go back to your childhood. The girls can identify with this very readily. What was the most favorite game in the childhood? I have my dog and I have named her. And the other one say, I have my dog and I have named him. Okay, so you bring your dog, I bring my dog, let's get them married. Whole game starts. And every child present is participating in the game of the marriage of this doll with this doll. And there are two parties, one from the she doll side and one from the he doll side, and they are negotiating. The entire day goes by in that play. How happy we were. Why? Perfect exercise for self-deception. We are so at peace with self-deception. from our early childhood memories. If you cannot relate with the dolls, in the Western culture particularly, let's play doctor and the nurse. Isn't that game familiar to every girl in this society? And then they imagine all kinds of naughty scenario, how a doctor is supposed to behave with a nurse. But we are very much at peace with it. The parents who are watching the girls playing that, they are at peace with it, just playing. They're just pretending. We are so at peace with the deception that we cannot come with a creative idea for our children and say, why are you playing a pretend game? Come here, I will teach you something of the real life. I will talk to you of something of that you can use as you grow up. Give me one example of a parent who has done that. Ever think why? Why not? Because this self-deception is the most enjoyable situation for the mind-body system. Facing the reality, facing the truth is so painful because it is going to demand your growth. Isn't it a common phrase? Oh, just grow up now. Isn't it a common phrase heard? How long are you going to continue in self-denial and self-deception? Would you just grow up? And there are actually, you can see posters selling at $3.99. I refuse to grow up. There are bumper stickers available for putting on your car bumper. Tell the world. This is not a senior citizen driving. It is a child at play. Okay? You don't want to recognize? Why doesn't he want to recognize that I have chronologically aged? Reality is, it is just chronological aging. The inner is still the child. It hasn't matured, hasn't grown up. Why not? Because that requires taking the responsibility. A child has no responsibility. So delusion. So long as you do not accept the fundamental principle it might shatter your childhood belief system. It's natural. Regardless of whether you are grown up a Jew, a Christian, a Muslim, a Hindu, a Buddhist, it doesn't matter. Because all of the childhood stories will have to be thrown away. And the adult version of that has to be accepted. As a child, you can point out, see, in this book it's written. But the adult in you will ask you, Hasn't he not given you a grey matter here? Why did he give you the brain? Can you not ask a fundamental question? How does it matter in which book it is written? How old that book is? As a child, you needed a story. Somebody gave you the story. Now grow up. And we refuse. We fight back. This past week, I saw something extremely strange on the internet. A criminal mind who declares, I am a criminal professional. He declares that to the world. And then he holds the Quran in his hand. And he's challenging the Supreme Court Chief Justice of Pakistan and say, I want him to put his hand on this Quran and tell me that he is actually a holy person. A thief himself. He declares it. I'm a businessman. Business does not move without giving the bribery. And all my life, I have bought on the television interview to the reporter for the whole world to watch. A crook holding Quran-e-Pak. And nobody from the media or from the say, have you opened this book? What is the punishment for somebody who gives bribe and who takes bribe? The same book that you are holding and shaking in front of it. What right do you have to hold this in your hand and dare the whole world? And he's doing it in daylight. Just 1 week. That case is still going on. Those of you who are interested, look up the case that has been brought up against the son of Chief Justice of Pakistan. And that crook is saying, I bribed this son of the Chief Justice to the tune of 30 crores rupees so that he can influence his father to give the decisions in my favor. Can you imagine the height of self-delusion? That's how the human consciousness can fall back. That's how far it can go down to the head. If you are going to ever get yourself out of this gutter of thinking, this type of thinking, you are required to break down all of the constructs, the models that have been injected in your mind from childhood and start your life brand new as an adult, as a grown-up. And the first requirement of that would be, which was told to us last week. And that requirement was, once again, aap naranjan soi. He is self-created, self-evolved. He has no human characteristics. He creates and he alone destroys and recreates. and the drama goes on. If you cannot accept this, at least be honest and stop deluding yourself. At least acknowledge this much. And if you accept the basic principle, then Nanak naam samal sadatu. Then you associate yourself with that purity. And you start disassociating yourself from the impurity. And if you go there, then sahj sach samaavani-aa. Slowly, you will merge into the ultimate truth. But be alert. Be aware that if you are accepting and going in, it's not your doing. Look at the beauty of it. An immediate warning come back. I just told you, go on the path, but hold it. You are not the one who's really going there. Before the ego could actually settle down that I am doing it, you are reminded, you are flapped around, you are hammered, you say, no, you are again making the same mistake. You aren't doing it. Then who's doing it? Next hand is answering that question. Say sach laagay jo tuDh. If you are on the path of the truth, it is a direct proof, it's a direct declaration that He wants you to do this. It is His grace. The only difference is, He has been whispering and you've been avoiding. Now He's hitting you with a brick and you are listening. That's the only difference. Because if you don't listen to the whisper, the bricks are going to fly. They'll start hitting you. And out of that pain you will say, surrender. Thy will be done. If you are here, if I am here, none of us can take any credit for it. And if we do, we go back to the last week's lesson. We fall back. Say sach laagay jo tuDh. Only those who have been graced can walk on your path. Sadaa sach sayveh sahj subhaa-ay. And if they have your grace and listening to your whispering, then they won't be able to go back. Walking on His path is like losing your virginity. You are never going to get back it. Once gone, it's gone. That is His pull. Once He traps you, then the world will stand against you. The outer dimension will immediately come up with a resistance, an argument. And more they argue, more energy He will supply you to resist it and not fall back. What do? Sadaa sach sayveh sahj subhaa-ay. Sache shabad, sachaa salaahee, sachay mayl milaavani-aa, because now there is only one objective. Look how many times this word is being repeated. Even though you may not understand the language, you can relate with the sound. Say sach, keep the word sach. Next, sadaa, sach. Next, sachay, sabad, sachaa, saalaahee. Sachay, mayl milaavani-aa. Look at the word sach, the ultimate truth. In a one stanza, in a one quotation, how many times it has been repeated to hammer out that sound. Truth, nothing but the truth. No impurity in it. No half pregnant now. The word has got a name. A seeker is pregnant with that word and will stay with that word, will stay in that memory. Scientific experiments have been done how something become a part of consciousness. It is not in the part of the Western culture. In Eastern culture, it is very common a mother sleeping with the child in the same bed. And they have actually conducted the experiments. If the child is sleeping in the same bed with the mother, isn't she afraid of that if she turns, she might smother the child? She might suffocate the child? In every observation, mother always turned in forced sleep away from the child. Not once a mother actually turned and came on top of the child who's sleeping next in the same bed. The conclusion: the memory of the child is now part of the subconscious of the mother. Whether she is awake or asleep, child will always be protected by her. That's the kind of memory that's required about the truth. Whether you are sleeping, whether you are awake, you will never ever trample on that memory and replace it with something else. Then you are like a mother sleeping with the child in the same bed. That's the nature of the truth. You just need to get pregnant with it. You just need to open your heart and let it come in. The problem is, no matter how much you want it, this monkey is standing right in front of it. He says, hold it. That's not what I taught you. It stands as a guard. Unless you have the willpower to push that monkey aside, the truth will not get into your heart. And that's the only way this journey advances. Say sach laagay jo tuDh paa-ay, sadaa sach sayveh sahj subhaa-ay, sachay shabad sadaa sachaa saalaahee, sachay mayl milaavani-aa. This is the only path toward that. Only very recently I was chatting with a dear friend of mine. And the the observation was, on this path, if you open your heart, you get hurt all the time. You get exploited all the time. You get misunderstood all the time. It's fraught with all kinds of dangers. And my response was, you stop kissing the frogs, you will never find your prince. That's just the nature of the beast. Because there are too many frogs out there to kiss. If you want your Prince Charming, you better continue. Don't back off. If you are a true seeker, no matter how many times you are let down, no matter how many times you are abused, misused, misunderstood, hurt, go back. Don't run away. Don't turn back. Because if you do, this is the same door out of which you can come in. It's the same door you can get out. You cannot ignore the door because it serves both purposes. Seeking is full of pitfalls, no question. But seeking is the only way you will get where you want to go. Hence, sachay sabad, sachaa saalaahee, sachai mayl milaavani-aa. That's the only way to meet. Mayl means to meet. Milaavani-aa means the process to meet. That's the only way. Vaaree, jee-o, vaaree, sach salaahni-aa, sach Dhi-aa-in, say sach raatay, sachay, sach samaavani-aa. Tune your ears energy to the word such and look how many times in every sentence it is being repeated, it's being hammered, it's being reminded. Because the conversation is not about the falsehood that you already have. Nobody needed to teach you how to get into the falsehood. You are a master at that. But you do need some guidance. How to attach yourself to the truth and detach yourself from the falsehood. How to put a gap, how to put a distance between yourself and the falsehood. Having put that distance, you now need to create the bond with the truth. How do you do that? Vaaree, jee-o, vaaree, sach salaahni-aa. How? The ego. Vaaree, surrendering. You maintain your ego and you are writing your own destiny for suffering. In this world, in that world, now and in the future, you are actually writing your script. Don't complain, I never wanted this. But you are making the choices exactly the opposite. When you are holding on to the rope on any side, you are writing your own destiny. Nobody is doing it to you. Nobody is forcing you. It doesn't mean the other side has been forgiven or other side has been condoned. Other is not important. You are. been talking about this for a long time now. Stop evaluating your life based on what the other does, how the other react, how the other judges, what label the other one puts on you. Unless you get out of that trap, you are never ever going to be at peace in your life. It will never happen. Because everyone you will meet will hold the rope in a different way. And you keep on insisting, I'll drop the rope when you drop. It's not going to work. Hasn't worked for a single human on this planet in the entire consciousness history. He isn't making an exception for any one of us. Those are eternal laws. So what's required? How are you? How means the ego, worry means the surrender. Surrender the ego. And when you surrender the ego, then it becomes possible. What? Such salaahni-aa. Now you are appreciating the truth. That's the only time when you appreciate the truth. Otherwise, you are filtering the truth through your falsehood, through your memory. If you don't drop your memory, if you don't put your experience on one side, it isn't going to work. You are fighting the wind. Wind is going to win, you are going to lose. You want to fight till eternity? Wind isn't in a hurry at all. It will allow you. Wind will never drop his side. So keep on hitting. Wind is not going to say, why are you hitting me? But keep on hitting. You are going to lose. Don't set up that game. See the game. See the truth. See the essence. Feel the essence. And when you feel the essence, sach-te-aa-in, say sach raatay, sachay, sach samaavani-aa. That's the end result. Rahaa-o. Sach-te-aa-in. Then your consciousness is completely surrounded by the truth. In and out, up and down, left and right, sideways, it doesn't matter. It becomes your covering. Such Dhi-aa-in. You are part of that ultimate truth now. Say sach raatay. You are part of the truth. Truth is part of you. Sachai, sach samaavani-aa. Now the potential of merging into each other become very, very clear. jee-o daykhaa sach sabani thaa-ee. Such again. Jee-o. You will see a transformation in you, which is jee-o. Wherever I see it, whichever direction I look at. When you go to the desert and hear the bird, then it is not the bird you are hearing. It is him you are hearing. You are not watching the sun down and changing the colors. He is changing the colors. Jee-o. wherever you see it. You go to the ocean, the water has no power to create waves. All the ripples are his. Because the ripples are being formed by the wind blowing very, very soothingly and lovingly, caressing the surface of the water. When the wind blows in that gentle fashion, the water responds by creating some very gentle waves. What do? Oh, look, new wave formed. We never say, look, he's playing. Look, his magic. The wind must be blowing. Well, I don't feel it. No, but look at the wave. The wave could not have been formed if the gentle wind was not caressing the water. The fact the wave is there tells the air is there, the wind is there. Because the wind and the water are playing with each other, who's making this happen? That's his play. See his hand behind this. He is hidden. He has given you the capability to see it. See what? Once again, jee-o, sach sabani-aa. That truth is everywhere. Gur prasadi mane vasaa-ee, tan sachaa, rasana, sach raatay, sach sun, vakhaanni-aa. Then you hear the truth and you expand on the truth. You repeat the truth. Then you wouldn't say, Sunny, come on, let me explain to you the theory of how the waves are formed in the ocean. You wouldn't say that. But if you are not seeing his hand, that's exactly what you will say. You will tell your friends, you will tell your children. Do you know how the waves are formed? Let me explain to you. I understand. I'm an oceanographer. I have studied that science. I know how a pressure is created on one side and trough is created on the other side. What do you mean pressure is created? Look, the wind pressure dropped here. And this wind had a higher pressure, so he flows into where the pressure is lesser. Now we have completely forgotten his play. We have completely suppressed the heart and stepped into the brain. And we feel very good about it because now the ego is alive. Now ego feels very good. See, I know something that you don't. You didn't know how the wind blows, did you? A seeker will never say that. A seeker will say, this is play. He wishes it, it happens. When he doesn't wish it, it doesn't happen. jee-o sach sabani-aa, gur prasadi mane vasaa-ee, tan sachaa. Then everything belongs to the truth. That means the body. The body belongs to the truth. Rasana, sach raatay. Rasana literally means the capacity to talk. sach raatay. Only interested in the essence, the ultimate truth. Those of you who still remember the movie What the Belief Do We Know? Remember the scene where a girl is standing on the beach and a shaman is standing with her, and the shaman is trying to tell the girl there is a ship out there, and she says, I don't see it. And the shaman is trying to hit her on the head and say, wake up. But the shaman also doesn't see the ship because nobody has seen the ship. Remember the scene? What is the shaman seeing? Some disturbance of the horizon of the water. And he's saying, if there is a disturbance on the water surface, that means something is out there that is causing that disturbance. And then suddenly a ship appears on the horizon, and now they both can see why the water was in some sort of a turmoil. That level of consciousness. So long as that consciousness, shaman knew that there is a cause and an effect. He is the cause, here is the effect. जय देखा सच सब नहीं था, गुर प्रसादी मने वसाई तन सच्चा, रसना सच राती, capacity of the word to speak is also truth. Sach sur, the ears are also only desirous of listening to the truth. Vakhaanni-aa, and there is only one urge inside. Just vakhaanni-aa literally means to explain. Explain only the truth. That shaman is not explaining to the girl about anything else other than, look, there is a truth happening over there. Mansa maar sach samani. Mansa literally means desires. Desires are the byproduct of the ego. If there is an ego, there is a desire. If there is a desire, there is an ego. They are Siamese twins. If you have desires, including I want an enlightenment, that's also a desire. Buddha learned it after 12 years of penance, that I have to drop that type of desire as well. I want to know. I want to know the truth. When he became aware of that refinement of I, and the moment he dropped that I, he became a Buddha from a Gautama. His childhood's name was a Gautama. And then ever since in the history, he was known as a Buddha, the enlightened one. Mansamar sach samani. All desires are at the root of your ego. See his true nature. Once you see his true nature, start walking away from them. And when you start walking away from them, what happened? Sach samani. you become now qualified, capable of merging with the truth. So long mansa, the desire, is there, you can only be part of the outside world. Because everybody outside also has desires. Everybody has desires. You fit very well there. You can sit and enjoy their company. Everybody will tell their own desire. No matter how ridiculous a desire is, outside world will understand. There is a 46 years old woman who had gone through 12 surgical breast enhancement. He wants to go through another. She is mother of 6 children. And a 17-year-old daughter is pleading, "Mom, I am teased every hour of the day in my school because of what you are doing." And she says, "I am going to be the woman known in the world with the largest breasts. That's my aim." The doctors have said you can die from the next operation because your skin will just not support the weight. And she's saying, "I'm willing to take the risk." She's I cup now, she wants to be triple M. You can see her picture. You can see her daughter pleading. You can see 2 of her children actually leave the home in protest. We don't want to be associated with a mother like this. And she's saying, "I am going to do it." I'm going to give you these examples how ridiculous a desire can be, how illogical it can be. But the outside society will say, her own doctor who performed the 12 operations are saying, "I am not going to do it anymore." And she says, "That's okay. I'll go to London and find somebody there." Why do you want to do this? Because with this, my income